Bonjour and bienvenue. You're listening to Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, your passport to the heart of French cuisine. From the flakiest croissants in Paris to the richest, ripest cheeses from the French countryside, we dive deep into the food and culture and stories that make France the ultimate destination for food lovers around the world. Here on Fabulously Delicious, it's not just about recipes, it's about the passion, the history, and the joie de vivre behind every dish. We uncover the origins of iconic French foods, discover hidden gems, regional specialties, and chat with incredible people from chefs and cheesemakers to passionate home cooks who bring these flavors to life every day. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
I'm a former MasterChef contestant turned full-time French food enthusiast, and I now call the charming town of Montmorillon home. From cooking and tasting to exploring vineyards and local markets, I'm living the delicious dream and sharing it all with you, my fabulously delicious audience. I hope you're enjoying it. In today's episode, Bleu d'Auvergne, the creamy blue jewel of central France. We're heading into the rolling hills and volcanic landscapes of the Auvergne to explore one of France's most iconic blue cheeses. We'll uncover its origins, how it's made, what makes it so special, and how best to enjoy it, whether you're nibbling it with a glass of sauterne or crumbling it into a warm salad. So pour yourself a glass of something fabulous, as long as you're not driving, that is. Rip off a chunk of baguette, maybe add a smear of some soft cheese or a sliver of saucisson, and get ready for another mouth-watering adventure. Welcome to Fabulously Delicious. Today we're diving into the creamy, tangy world of Bleu d'Auvergne. That's spelled Bleu, B-L-E-U, d'Auvergne, D'-A-U-V-E-R-G-N-E. This beautiful marble blue cheese hails from the heart of France, in the volcanic highlands of the Massif Central. Made from rich cow's milk, its veins can range from soft blue to deep inky black blue, giving it a striking appearance and bold character. And it's not just a pretty wedge. Bleu d'Auvergne has held its prestigious Appellation d'Origine de Control, AOP, since 1975, which protects both its name and traditional methods of production. To truly appreciate the cheese, we have to delve into how it's made. This blue vein cheese comes in the form of cylindrical formats, each weighing between 2 to 3 kilograms. These wheels typically measure around 18 to 20 centimeters in diameter and stand about 9 to 10 centimeters tall, though some variations can be a bit larger. Each cheese begins with about 20 to 30 liters of cow's milk, sourced from mid-mountain farms located between 500 to 1,600 meters above sea level, across 6 departments in central France, including the Pays de Dôme, the Cantal, and Haute-Loire. Whether the milk is raw or pasteurized, it's first seeded with penicillin roquefort or penicillin gourcon, the very molds responsible for those gorgeous blue-green veins. With pasteurized milk, cheesemakers also reintroduced a selected culture of beneficial microbes to mimic the complex flora that's naturally present in raw milk. The milk is then curdled, cut, and gently stirred in a process called capping the grain. The curd is carefully placed into molds to finish draining and then start taking its classic shape. After molding, each wheel of cheese is salted in 2 stages. First on the sides and then on the heel, allowing the salt to slowly penetrate and flavor the interior. But here's where things, they get a little interesting. Blue mold needs oxygen to thrive, so the cheeses are pierced with needles to allow air into the center, encouraging the development of that famous marbling. Gone are the days of hand pricking them with knitting needles. Today, mechanical needling ensures a more consistent distribution throughout the cheese. The cheeses are then aged for a minimum of 28 days. traditionally in cool, humid cellars that help coax out their soft, creamy texture and complex aromas. During this ripening process, Bleu d'Auvergne develops a thin, natural crust, bluish grey in colour, whilst the inside becomes a glistening ivory paste. The flavour, earthy, rich and slightly tangy, with delicate notes of wild mushrooms, undergrowth and fresh cream. Whilst it's available year-round, its peak season is from June to December, when the pastures and milk are at their finest. The origins of Bleu d'Auvergne are wrapped in a bit of mystery and folklore, much like the vein patterns that run through the cheese itself. Most historians link it to another regional cheese known as Bleu de Laqueuille, made in the same part of France on the volcanic slopes of the Massif Central, west of Clermont-Ferrand. While the exact origin is debated, one commonly told version suggests that an Auvergne peasant in the mid-19th century began experimenting by adding mould from rye bread to curdled milk. He then pierced the cheese with a needle to allow air in, encouraging the mould to grow throughout the paste of the cheese. This rudimentary technique laid the foundation for the creamy blue cheese that we now know today. But if Bleu d'Auvergne has a founding father, many believe it to be Antoine Roussel, a young man from the region who travelled to Rouen to apprentice in a pharmacy. There he became fascinated by the role of moulds and microorganisms. Returning home, he applied his scientific curiosity to cheesemaking, and in 1854 he perfected the process of blue marbling by systematically introducing penicillin, Roquefort, and using controlled aeration through needling. Thanks to Roussel, the technique became reproducible, and Bleu d'Auvergne began to spread beyond the Auvergne. By the late 19th century, the cheese had become a regional treasure, with growing national acclaim. It even earned a lyrical tribute from Francis Batol, a popular Parisian songwriter, who sang its praises in 1879. The arrival of the railway allowed producers to transport their cheeses more efficiently, helping Bleu d'Auvergne make its way onto tables in Parisian bistros and eventually across France. Today, more than a century and a half later, Bleu d'Auvergne remains a symbol of Auvergne's rich pastoral heritage and its people's ingenuity. Whether rustic or refined, it continues to capture the hearts of cheese lovers around the world, with its distinct marbling, assertive aroma, and creamy melt-in-your-mouth texture. A worthy legacy of the bold innovation of rural cheesemakers like Roussel. Dreaming of Paris, or maybe you're already lucky enough to live in the city of lights, love and good food. Either way, let's talk about the most delicious part of Paris, its food. As someone who's had the absolute pleasure of calling Paris home, I've spent years exploring its incredible culinary treasures, and now I want to help you discover them too. That's why I wrote Paris, a fabulous food guide to the world's most delicious city. This is a 2025 edition, and it's your ultimate foodie passport to Paris, featuring over 400 hand-picked recommendations that will make your taste buds dance with joy. From the city's best boulangeries to cozy cafes, indulgent chocolate shops, must-visit fromageries, and more. This guide has it all. And that's not all, actually. I've added brand new sections for vegan and vegetarian dining, where to find the best views with your meal, and a freshly expanded food walking tour to help you eat your way through the city like a pro. Whether you're craving flaky patisseries, creamy cheeses, or unforgettable dining experiences, this guide has got you covered. Ready to explore Paris like never before? Grab your copy today at andrewpryorfabulously.com, where you can either get a signed and gift package version, or you can find it on Amazon, and there's even a Kindle version for you. Your Parisian food adventure awaits. Bon voyage and bon appétit! Like many of France's most treasured cheeses, Bleu d'Auvergne enjoys the protection of two important geographical certifications. It was granted Appellation d'Origin Control, or AOC status, in 1975, a French label that safeguards traditional methods and regional identity. And later in 1996, it received the Protected Designation of Origin, or PDO label, from the European Union, ensuring that any cheese that bears the name Bleu d'Auvergne must be produced in this designated region using specific time-honoured techniques. These protections aren't just legal formalities, they help preserve the authenticity and the cultural legacy of this beloved blue cheese. When it comes to taste and texture, Bleu d'Auvergne strikes a delicious balance between boldness and approachability. It has a strong, pungent aroma, but compared to the more assertive blues like Roquefort, it's less salty, creamier, and more buttery. Its texture is moist and melting, and it has a luscious richness that makes it an excellent introduction for those new to blue cheeses. Whilst it's traditionally veined with Penicillin Roqueforte, some cheesemakers use a milder strain, Penicillin Glaucum, to create a gentler marbling effect and flavour profile. The paste is a beautiful ivory white streaked with blue-green veins, encased in a thin, natural bluish-grey rind that may have hints of green or silver. In the kitchen, Bleu d'Auvergne is wonderfully versatile. You can crumble it over a fresh green salad, melt it into a sauce or pasta, or simply enjoy it as part of a cheese board with crusty bread. Its soft, spreadable texture also makes it ideal for dressings and dips. But where this cheese truly shines is in its pairings. It's a dream with sweet wines such as lush sauternes or a dessert-style Riesling, where the sweetness balances the blue's sharp tang. For white wine lovers, a zesty Sauvignon Blanc also works beautifully. Prefer something bolder? Try it with a robust red wine or even a dark malty beer like an English barley wine or an American porter. Both full-flavoured enough to stand up to its intensity whilst complementing its richness. It is sometimes a little bit more mild, and it just has these notes of baking spice and cinnamon. I think it's sometimes a little bit more versatile because it's not sheep's milk. Bleu d'Auvergne, you could crumble it, put it in a salad, cook with it. That's one that I really love. This was said by cheesemaker John Montez about the Bleu d'Auvergne cheese. And that's a wrap for this episode of Fabulously Delicious. Had you heard of Bleu d'Auvergne before today? What's the most fabulous thing that you discovered about this creamy blue jewel of central France? Whether it's a fun fact, a pairing idea, or just a newfound appreciation for French cheeses, I'd love to hear from you. Slide into my DMs on Instagram at Andrew Pryor Fabulously, or drop me a line at email me at contact@andrewpryorfabulously.com. Let's connect and chat all things French food and cheeses, to recipes and everything delicious in between. Food conversations are some of the best ways to bring people together, don't you think? I love them. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your fellow cheese lovers, friends, or anybody that's curious about French cuisine. Your support helps keep Fabulously Delicious going strong. And if you're feeling extra fabulous, leaving a review would mean the world. It helps other foodies discover the show. Thank you so much for joining me on this tasty journey. Your passion for French food and culture inspires every episode of Fabulously Delicious, and I'm thrilled to have you along for the ride. Remember what my motto is: whatever you do, do it fabulously. Merci beaucoup, and as always, bon appétit. Until next time, au revoir.